thank you, Juliet, for kindly giving up your time to give us a little mini masterclass on goal setting. If you just kind of want to introduce yourself, you'll probably do a better job than me, and you just take it away, and we're all here listening. And at the end, if it's okay, if you want to comment any questions you've got for Juliet, if you'd kindly answer them at the end, if that's okay with you.
Of course, yeah, I'm more than happy to.
Okay, so get your questions ready, and Juliet, if you just want to take it away.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys for having me this evening. It's honestly such a pleasure to be here with you. I know it's such an important day, and this group is such an important space for you all to share together. So it's really an honor to be here. So as you said, we're going to be chatting a little bit about goal setting and motivation today. I know the world is a really, really tough place to be in right now, but know that I am here for you. This group is here for you, and going to share some tips and tricks to get you inspired and motivated. So before we get started, a little bit more about me. My name's Juliet Tripp, and I work in the events industry. So I organise international and now virtual conferences, and I've worked in events for 10 years now, and I absolutely love it, and I can't imagine ever doing anything else. Some more exciting stuff about me is that I am a proud mother of 2 miniature sausage dogs called Chester and Chip, who are my whole world. And I also love anything motivational. I'm a huge Beyonce fan. Those kind of things light me up. And I'm also a speaker. Yeah, exactly. All for Beyonce. I'm a speaker, so I speak a lot on all things goal setting. I'm a coach as well, so I coach event industry professionals and others on how to stay inspired, how to stay motivated and set goals. So yeah, goal setting has always been a big part of my life, and it's something that I just really enjoy sharing with others. And I think it's important to note that goal setting can be for anyone. So you don't have to be like a business owner to set goals. You don't have to just set goals that are to do with your career, right? We are all worthy of like making it happen. I literally have make it happen above my head in lights because it is my mantra for life. So take that with you this evening as a little bit of inspiration. But yeah, we can all set goals. Goals can be as simple as just making sure that we are going to have a great breakfast tomorrow, to going on to being the president of the USA. I don't know. They can be anything, right? So goal setting, I'll talk you through the process, some tips and tricks on how you can set some goals, keep it simple, how you can visualize what you want to happen, some manifestation tips, some vision board tips, and of course, we'll have plenty of time to ask any questions. So if you do have questions throughout, feel free just to pop them in the comments now. We'll address them at the end, but it saves you having to remember them, right? Because I'm blonde, I'm very forgetful, so I have to ask things right away. And there's no such thing as a stupid question. I'm here for you. So anything that you want to ask, it will be my pleasure. So I'm going to chat you through what goal setting actually is. So goal setting is a process that connects our thoughts and our actions together. So there might be a goal that you want to achieve in life at any stage in life. And by sort of putting it out there to the world, by getting super clear on what it is that you want to achieve and how that is going to feel for you, your actions and the steps that you're taking every single day can drive you closer to making that goal your reality. So goals, I think a lot of us have the preconception that goal setting just needs to be within the workplace, or it's like when people say to you, oh, what's your 5-year goal? Like throw that out of the window. That's like in the past. Goal setting is for you. It's for you now. It's for everyone. So believe that. Goals, short-term goals are super, super effective. They're my favorite kind of goals. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on this evening. So short-term goals can be anything from, as I mentioned, what you're going to have for breakfast tomorrow, to making commitments to yourself, to learning a new skill, like learning a new language, or trying out yoga for the first time, or making a new friend in the next month. Your short-term goals can be anything. The most powerful goals are goals that are connected to your feelings. Because when you can truly feel into your goals, then they become so much more powerful. And set goals that feel good. You should set goals that light you up, that light a fire in your belly and a spark in your eye and make you want to take on the world in whatever it is that you do and you feel. So life goals are absolutely and can be something that is outside of the daily grind. So if you are working at the moment, they're outside of the 9 to 5. You don't need to just be focusing on, I want a promotion or I want to pass this test. They can be anything. So things that you want to achieve, things that you want to bring into your life, things that you want to take away from your life. They can be anything as long as they're connected to you and how you want to feel. So when I'm talking about goal setting, I like to share sort of different processes and ways that you can do this. But mindset is a huge part of this. And I encourage you to have a dream big mindset. So by dream big, realize that absolutely any of us have the power to make our goals a reality, that you can dream bigger, that there is no such thing as too ambitious or too wild or too crazy goals. Like, absolutely, you can make it happen. So keep dreaming and keep dreaming bigger. With your mindset, you can absolutely make it work for you. So I'll talk a little bit later about an act as if mindset and how you can act as if you already own these goals, that they're already happening for you, because that is super powerful. So in terms of how to set a goal, because it might be a really new thing for you, it might be something that feels really scary or feels like it shouldn't be for you, but it absolutely is. Any of us can set goals. The first step to setting goals, and I'll share some tips written down. I'll do a little document for you to post in the group later. So for anyone that's watching later, you've got that as well. But the first thing to do is to visualize. So imagine where you want to be, whether that's tomorrow, whether it's in a week's time or a year's time. Visualize where you want to be and how you want to feel. So that could be anything from becoming a morning person, starting to wake up earlier, or being confident enough to speak another language, or being confident enough to make some new friends that you've never met before. Visualize how that's going to feel. So is it going to feel super empowering when you're able to speak that second language? Is it going to make you feel super powerful when you can do those yoga poses that you've always wanted to be able to do? When you focus on the feelings, it's so much easier to get there because you're literally feeling into the goal. You're feeling how it's going to come into reality. Connect the feeling to the goal. My next tip for you is to write your goal down as if it has already happened. So, for example, saying, I am an award-winning author. Instead of saying, one day I'd like to write a book. Like, okay, cool. That's fine. Anyone can write that down, but one day, like, when's one day? But by writing down, I am an award-winning author, like, you are believing it. By writing your goals down, you are 42% more likely to make it happen. 42%, that is huge. So write them down again, write them down every single day if you need to. I have a goal setting journal that I use. So I write down 10 goals every day. Some of them are really small, some of them are really big, but I write them down as if they've already happened. And then I write down the one goal that I'm going to prioritize first, because prioritization is really important. So you might be a super ambitious person. You might have just like loads of stuff that you want to do. But if it feels overwhelming, just take a moment to think, what's most important to me right now? What can I prioritize right now to take me closer to that goal? And start working on that one first, because then you tick that one off the list and the next things will follow. And this can be applicable to your to-do list. So you write a to-do list in the morning of things you want to achieve that day. Try and prioritize them. And it might be there's only 2 things on your to-do list. One of them might be doing your laundry, and the other thing might be reading a few pages of your book. And that's totally fine. No, you don't need to be trying to do it all. We're not all superhumans. We think we are at times, but just work at what you can do in the moment and focus on that, because there are a lot of circumstances out of our control. Certainly the last year has taught us that more than anything, but focus on the things that you can control, because the rest of the things will just happen around you. Focus in on what you can control, because then you'll see yourself achieving things. You'll focus on moving forward and making stuff happen. A really important tip as well for goal setting is to bring in gratitude into your life and have an attitude of gratitude. Now, this does not mean being a positive person 110% of the time, because I don't believe that anyone can be. We can try, and it's great to try, but some days we have bad days. That is life. But by being grateful for the things that you do have, you are helping yourself be open and willing to receiving more goals, to receiving more good luck or anything positive, more friends, more thoughts, more money even. So with this attitude of gratitude, the best way to go about it is to start writing down really small things that you're grateful for. So although I'm really grateful to have a roof over my head, and I don't undermine that at all, that's not the sort of thing I'm writing down on my list. The kind of things that I might write down are, I'm grateful that I had the best ever cup of coffee this morning. Or I'm grateful that I went out on my daily walk and a stranger smiled at me in the street. Or I'm grateful that I have a huge piece of cake to go and eat later tonight. I wish I did. I don't, unfortunately. But like these small things keep you going. They keep you motivated. It's so, so important to have that attitude of gratitude. So look at writing your goals down, having that attitude of gratitude, and also telling people about your goals. Like, don't be afraid to put them out there to the world. We'll talk about accountability shortly and how you can stay accountable for your goals. But telling people is going to be a super powerful step as well. Another really important step when it comes to goal setting is believing in yourself. Like, you are all incredible. Like, just by showing up today, just by being a member of this group, you are believing in yourself because you're part of this super empowering and supportive community. Like, I believe in you and you've absolutely got this. So start believing in yourself. Like, believe that anything is possible. Like, in a world that is full of bad stuff, be that positive light. Be positive, be focused, and you can absolutely bring things into your life, whether it's more things to be grateful for or more opportunities to smile, more opportunities to make someone else smile even. When it comes to visualizing, it's also really important to know your why. So know your why when you're setting a goal. Connect this to the feelings. So if it is going back to that idea of, I want to be a morning person, like, why do you want to be a morning person? Maybe it's because you want to start the morning really slow, so you have enough time to do some journaling, do some exercise, spend some time reading. You want to take control of the day so it really feels like yours, and you can belong to that moment of peace and quiet before everyone else wakes up. That's a why. Just setting a goal saying, like, I think I'm going to start waking up earlier. That's fine. But are you actually? When you feel into it and you know the reason that you want to achieve a goal, it becomes so much more attainable because you're connecting it. You're connecting it to a why, a purpose, and then you're building a strategy to literally make it happen. So if you are setting goals that feel quite big and quite scary for you, you could also break them down. So break them down into a roadmap so that they can feel more achievable and more attainable. I'm going to give you an example of this. So a big goal that someone might set might be to become a published author. So that's the big goal, way out there in the distance. The first place to start is where you are right now. So have a think and a look at where you are in your life right now and the resources that you have around you. So if you want to be a published author, that is incredible. Look at where you're at right now. So do you have an idea for the book? Do you have a title for the book? Do you know the sort of stuff that you want to write about? Do you have any idea how to get a book published? Have you got people within your network that might be able to help you? Do this audit of your resources and where you are at right now. And then you can start breaking that big goal down into the baby steps. So for example, if you say you want to be a published author in a year, great. So what do you need to do 6 months from now? You probably need to have that book finished and with an editor. What do you need to do in 3 months' time? Maybe you need to have written half of the book. What do you need to do in 1 month's time? Maybe it's to do some research on the best publishers for the industry and the book that you want to write about. In 1 week's time, maybe you need to write a writing schedule so you know when you're going to start writing your book and when you're going to carve out the time. What are you going to do tomorrow? Maybe you're going to start thinking about the title for the book. But suddenly, when you break that big goal down, it feels so much more believable and achievable because you've got those baby steps. Now, even if you are not taking huge amounts of action, you can take small baby steps because the baby steps turn out into the big steps and they move you forward. They drive you forward towards that long end term goal. So if you want to run a marathon one day, amazing, good for you. I'm not a runner, I'm terrible at running. So I'm not going to tell you how because I don't know, but I can tell you how to break that goal down. And it might be at looking where you are right now. Like, do you have trainers that are good for running? Are you able to run for 10 minutes without stopping? Do you have a running partner that's going to help hold you accountable for going out when it's raining and cold and horrible and you don't want to? Like, these are the steps that can take you towards that end goal, because any one of us can set a goal. We absolutely can. It's just the action that we take is going to determine where, how and where and why, and how quickly we get there. So it's important to acknowledge that there are often roadblocks along the way in your roadmap to making your goals a reality. And I think all of us can hand on heart say that 2020 was probably one of them, the most unexpected roadblock. But acknowledge that the roadblocks are there, but don't let them stop you. If you have set a goal and you have put it out to the world, that goal belongs to you. It is your goal, no one else's, and you own it. By owning that goal, you will and can make it happen. But if something gets in the way, it's simply a roadblock. It's simply a bump or a hurdle in the road. And when we reach a hurdle, we either jump over it, or if you're a non-sports person like me, you just walk around it. You find a different path, okay? The goal is still there. The path to get there might be a little more windy. It might be a little more bumpy. It might have some unexpected twists and turns, but ultimately that goal is yours and you are going to make it happen. You just need to be finding a way to take those small steps to get there. And you need to be keeping showing up. So I wanted to share with you some tips on how to create a vision board for your goals, which I think there's been sort of a lot of noise recently about New Year's resolutions and stuff. I'm not a fan of New Year's resolutions because I think it's by January the 11th. Most people have given them up, but actually by setting goals, by visualizing, by manifesting, which I'll talk about in a minute, you can really bring these goals into your reality. So a vision board, if you've never heard of it before, is literally like a physical board or a digital board full of images and words that inspire you and that are related to your goals. So you can put loads and loads of stuff on there. It might be pictures of a place that you'd like to travel to. It might be pictures of a new food that you'd like to try, or a new sport that you'd like to try, a book that you'd like to read, a person that you'd like to meet. All of these images can come together, and visualization and vision boards are super powerful because we literally visualize things. That is how we see them in front of us. If I asked you right now to think about a beach, chances are you have got in your mind a picture of a beautiful beach rather than just the words spelled out in front of you. This hopefully proves to you that having a vision board and bringing those images into your life can make it really powerful and can help you get closer to your goals. So the ways you could create a vision board could literally be like one of those pin boards. You could get a piece of paper or cardboard and take some images out of magazines or print some from the computer. You could also try a digital vision board. This is something that I do quite a lot. I spend a lot of time working on my laptop. So I've used a laptop screensaver as a vision board before because I know that I'm seeing it all the time. Or you could try it on a phone background. You could create a Pinterest board. So Pinterest is amazing because it's just packed full of images. If you wanted to try and create your own vision board, there's an amazing social media tool called Canva, and it's completely free. And you can just find photos and create a pattern or a grid of images for yourself. And then you can put it somewhere that you're going to see it and reflect on it and start showing up and reminding yourself of what those goals are and how those images make you feel. So I really recommend doing that at some point if you've never tried it before. I wanted to mention a little bit about the idea of manifesting, which can sound a bit big and scary and a bit spiritual, but it doesn't need to be all woo-woo. I'm not going to go all woo-woo on you, but manifesting is super, super powerful, and it's kind of connected to visualizing. It's bringing something into physical reality by believing and thinking and knowing that it is attainable and achievable for you. So it's a really, really powerful tool. For example, a lot of athletes use sports psychology, and a lot of that is manifesting. So, Olympians will train knowing that their sports psychologists will teach them to visualize crossing the finish line or visualize being on the podium with that medal, because it's really powerful. Because then when they go to run that race, they are seeing themselves on the podium with the gold medal in their hand, and it feels within their grasp and within their reach. So you could do this from just like imagining yourself at a place you want to travel to, or imagining yourself trying that new sport that you've always wanted to try. I talked earlier about 3 little words that are really, really powerful, which are act as if. That act as if mindset. Act as if you have already achieved these goals. Act as if, if you have set a goal to build your confidence, act as if you're already the most confident person in the room, so that when you're introducing yourself to someone for the first time, you act as that person that you want to be. Like, it brings this goal into your physical reality and makes it way more possible and believable. So keep believing in yourself. Now would be a great time to pop any questions into the comments if you have them, because I'm about to sort of wrap up, but I wanted to leave you with some of my top takeaways. So the first one is anyone can own a goal. So by owning a goal, I mean, if you want to start waking up earlier, tell yourself that you are a morning person. Tell others, I am a morning person, because by owning that identity, you're going to start showing up for yourself in that way. You want to start running. Tell yourself, I am a runner. You want to start sharing your story or writing a blog. I am a writer. I am a blogger. Own that identity, and those goals will become way closer than they were before, because you are literally creating opportunities to make them happen. I mentioned I'm a Beyonce fan, so I'm going to leave you with a Beyonce related quote, which is, we all have the same amount of hours in a day as Beyonce. Like, it's just how you use your time, and you run the day doesn't run you. Like, yeah, we've all got stuff that we have to do within the day and stuff gets in the way, but it's up to you how you spend your time. Don't let anyone else dictate that. If you want to spend time watching Netflix and sleeping, that's totally fine. If you want to spend time waking up early to read a book, to learn a new skill, that's totally fine as well. But know that you control your time, you control your goals, and you absolutely can make them happen. So I really hope that little whistle stop tour of motivation and goal setting was helpful for you. And of course, very happy to answer any questions that you might have if we've had any in the comments.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel so positive now.
Oh, I'm so glad. So glad.
Yeah, that was honestly like some of the things that you were saying. I was thinking, wow, I never thought to look at it that way. You think goal is it's such a one-dimensional thing, but it's absolutely not. And you've definitely proved that.
Oh,
So I will just see if we have questions. I'm sure we do. Okay, so Helen said, I'm buzzing after this workshop. Thank you, Juliet. I really like the tips about prioritizing and focusing on the things that you can control. My question, if you're having a bad day when fatigue really it's raining and you just can't be bothered, how do you go about shifting that mindset? Sometimes even being grateful for the cup of coffee doesn't seem to work.
Yeah, that's such a good question. And it's really important. I think it's important to say, like, feel your feelings, because it's totally okay to have a bad day, and feel like just do one thing. Like, if you are thinking, the world is against you, you're really not having a good day at all, don't try and do everything, but do one thing. Like, send one email or read one page of a book, or just like, instead of going for a run, can you walk for 10 minutes? Like, just try something really, really small. Reach out to one friend, or just do one thing, because it doesn't need to be overwhelming, and goal setting shouldn't be overwhelming. If it is, stop, take stock, feel your feelings, and move on, and try again tomorrow. But yeah, that is my tip for bring your motivation up. Start small and just take one action.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense, doesn't it? We've got another one. So Liam said, hi, thank you for the talk. I was just wondering if you have ever really struggled with reaching a goal you've set yourself. Did you overcome it or reevaluate your goals?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I think a lot of my goals were completely out of the window last year, certainly when COVID hit, and I realised, so one of the goals that I had last year, I mentioned that I'm a speaker, and I said I'm going to speak on certain stages like all around the world. I really wanted to kind of travel more for speaking, but that was completely out of the window. So I just tried to look at, right, how that goal isn't going to happen this year, but how could I look at it through a different lens and reevaluate it? So what I ended up doing was looking for online speaking opportunities instead, because I didn't need to leave my house, but I managed to speak on like bigger industry stages in front of thousands of people. And I never would have done that if I had to actually travel there. Yeah, it might have been 100 people or a couple of hundred people, which would have been awesome. But I was able to get my message and my story out in front of so many people. And had I had a closed mindset then and been like, no, this goal isn't going to happen, I'm going to write it off, I never would have said yes to those kind of opportunities. So that's just one example for me. But it's important to kind of reevaluate your goals all the time. So say you've set something, even in a day. So like you write a to-do list in the morning, for example, it gets to the end of the day, just look at what you got up to. Like, did you make any of those goals happen? And for the ones that you didn't make happen, have a look at why. Like, were they factors out of your control? Can you roll those goals over to tomorrow or to a week's time? Like, you can still make them happen. It goes back to just maybe needing a little bit of a different path, but don't get down about not hitting goals. Because you can hit them, it might just be in a different way, or goals might not serve you anymore. Like, you might set something and say, yeah, I'm totally going to do this, and then maybe as time goes on, it just doesn't feel good to you anymore. So don't be afraid to like write them off the list and try something else instead.
Yeah, I mean, I totally just touched on what you've just said there. I think it is so important sometimes, isn't it, to reevaluate, and especially in the context of our group.
Yeah.
People in the group have had cancer. That is a major, major thing. And
Yeah.
it's important to remind yourself that your body might be slightly different now than it was before. So you might think, oh, I can do this. I do it myself sometimes. I think I can do this. And it comes to it and I'm like, I'm just too tired, or my body's just not allowing me. So I think in the context of our group, that is a really, really good point. Just, stop, take a step back and think, I might not be able to do it now, but I can do it in the future maybe, or another day.
Or in a different way, like maybe, you know, maybe you set a goal to do something that was really physical in terms of exercise or something. And if that isn't possible for you right now, maybe it was because it wasn't meant to be. And actually you were going to learn a new skill or complete an online course or read a really inspirational book instead. Like, you know, these things happen unexpectedly, and it's sometimes they're really great opportunities.
Yeah, I love that. So I think we've got one more. So Millie said, thoroughly enjoyed the talk. Thanks, Juliet. I feel so positive now. I really struggle with wanting to change the world all at once. So my question is, what do you think is the best way to keep track of all your big goals while focusing on the baby steps towards them? And how do you deal with feeling like that it takes longer to get there than you imagined?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So keep writing them down. I'd say if you don't have like a journal or a book of lists, definitely get one, because like goals you can think of things in the middle of the night or like unexpected. So keep writing things down, but then have somewhere else where you write down like plans. So goals and plans. So I have two big like wall calendars on the wall, and one is like a sort of planning one for the year ahead, which, you know, can't really plan too far in advance at the moment, but I just put in what I know and what I can control. And then I have the next one, which breaks things down into steps. So I'll basically pick a goal or something that I'm working on off the big chart, the planner, and then bring it into how can I look at that over the next 3 months, and then how can I break it down to a month, and then those steps. And, you know, if you've written those goals down, they're there, they're going to happen, but it's just a case of sort of moving them from the like 1 day list into the going to happen soon list, and then looking at breaking it down further. And totally be kind to yourself when you're setting those steps and setting those goals, because as we mentioned, there are factors out of our control, and we all think that we can take on the world at times, and that's awesome. And never ever stop thinking you can take on the world, but just look at it through a different lens when you need to focus and break your goal down. And also celebrate your wins. This is a really important thing. So if you do achieve a goal, however small, celebrate it. Like, you know, maybe you managed to do a bit of a project that you've been working on, so go and treat yourself to like go for a walk around the block or go make a cup of tea, anything like that. Or if it's a big goal, you know, whatever, celebrate in a way that feels good to you. But by celebrating your wins, then you're seeing that that's progress worth celebrating, and it gets you excited and motivated to move forward.
Yeah, we do a week. Well, sometimes it's weekly, other times it's a bit further apart, but we do Wednesday wins on the group. So I think that fits in perfectly with
Love that. Yes, definitely.
I think that is all of them. Hang on.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, thank you guys for your comments. If there's anything else, obviously write a comment under this video, and obviously if there's anything that I can't answer, I have your email address,
Yes.
don't I, Juliet? So if there's anything, you know, if people have missed it, if they couldn't make it tonight, but you're watching this maybe tomorrow and you think, oh, I wish I could have had the opportunity to ask that, then obviously I can email you and ask for your great advice. So thank you so much. We're gonna stop the live now. But yeah, I'm sure everyone is clapping. I hope.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure to spend the time with you. And if there's anything that you thought of that you think like you don't want to ask in front of the group, like find me I'm on all social media, at Juliet Tripp Events on Instagram. Feel free just to send me a message if you'd rather just keep it personal. I'm happy to do that as well.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. I think people will really appreciate that. So I'm going to stop the live now. Hope you've all had a great evening, and we will both see you later.
Bye guys. Thank you.